on DC News Now. The wet weather is gone, but clouds remain in the DMV. Meteorologist Damon Matson has your full forecast.
The council should know when we fight, we win! When we fight, we win!
Union workers fighting for their wages after Mayor Bowser announces plans to repeal Initiative 82.
Student loan borrowers now ordered to pay up. Get tips to keep your credit score intact. The NFL draft coming to DC in 2027. How millions of fans could impact the local economy.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now at noon. I'm Haley Mylon in for Mark Hall. Storm clouds have moved on for now. Thank goodness. Meteorologist Damon Matson joins us with the latest check on the forecast. Damon, it was a noisy night last night.
Oh yeah, Haley. Noisy, waterlogged, all of it there with those stronger storms that came through last evening, and they left an impact on parts of the area. Now, they certainly were scattered enough. Not everybody felt the effects, but we did see a lot of rainfall. That was the main thing those storms brought to us. And there you go. 2 swaths of the DMV stretching from King George County all the way up through the district into Montgomery County saw around 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain. That includes the I-95 corridor through Prince William and Fairfax County. And then we also had another line of heavier storms through Loudoun into Frederick County, Maryland, where around 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain came down. That prompted a couple of flash flood warnings that we did have to deal with. And we throw these icons up over those rainfall totals. Go figure. That's where we had some of the severe thunderstorms that not only brought the rainfall and flash flooding, but also some gusty winds, damage from that, and some hail as well. So the heaviest rainfall amounts lined up where those severe storms were at. Now, the same system that brought this activity yesterday, it has not gone far. It is still spinning away up over the Great Lakes. Still plenty of showers and storms just off to our north and east. So because that system is still nearby, we have the chance for additional showers and storms this afternoon. But given the placement of that low pressure center, well, we're not going to see as active of an afternoon and evening. But those isolated showers and storms could fire up by 3-4 o'clock and last with us into the evening. So we'll talk about where exactly these showers and storms will be most likely today, and if things will finally start drying out soon. Coming up in your full forecast here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you so much. Well, Mayor Muriel Bowser is proposing to repeal Initiative 82. It's a measure that passed overwhelmingly in 2022 to raise the minimum wage of tipped workers. While many restaurant owners are in favor of the move, workers in the hospitality industry are fighting back to protect their wages. Our Candace Cole has more from City Hall.
Union workers across the hospitality and trade industries rallied outside of City Hall this morning protesting against Mayor Bowser's plans to repeal Initiative 82, which passed overwhelmingly among voters to give tipped workers the same minimum wage as everyone else here in the city.
And when we fight,
Nearly 100 workers gathered on the steps of the Wilson building, calling on the city council to stop Mayor Muriel Bowser from repealing Initiative 82, a measure that is gradually raising the minimum wage for tipped workers to be on par with everyone else in D.C., which is currently $17.50.
As a busser, I am a tipped wage worker. I am actually relying on the wage increase that's coming in July.
The workers are also urging the council not to approve the mayor's multi-billion-dollar plan to build a new football stadium unless there's a firm commitment to, quote, high-quality hospitality jobs. Mayor Bowser announced plans to repeal I-82 as part of her 2026 budget proposal during a press conference Monday. Ward 1 council member Brianne Nadeau vowed to protect worker wages.
We're going to work together to get enough council members to block this repeal.
Mayor Bowser says the repeal is necessary because the economic landscape in which restaurants are operating is vastly different from 3 years ago when the initiative passed, largely due to the massive cuts in the federal workforce, resulting in a loss of about 40,000 jobs across D.C. And restaurant owners have blamed the measure for increased operating costs, which have forced some places to shut down. But Paul Schwab of Unite Here Local 25 says getting rid of I-82 is the wrong solution.
Look, we believe that cutting wages for workers is always a bad idea. If we need to help the restaurant industry, we should do it. But we should also recognize that there are lots of restaurants that are thriving.
We will continue to keep a close watch on the fight over I-82 and bring you the latest developments as we get them. For now, reporting in Northwest, Candace Cole, DC News Now.
Candace, thank you for that reporting. In the meantime, a national service worker group is blasting Mayor Bowser's proposal. The president of One Fair Wage, which represents 300,000 restaurant workers nationwide, calls it a stunning betrayal of D.C. workers and democracy. The group adds Mayor Bowser is siding with the industry lobbyists who have fought fair wages for decades, rather than respecting the twice expressed will of the voters who choose dignity, fairness, and economic justice. A rally to keep Initiative 82 is expected to happen today at the Wilson Building. Well, the Army is pausing flights near DCA following several recent close calls. Officials say 2 commercial planes had to perform go-arounds recently because of an Army Black Hawk helicopter flying to the Pentagon. That happened on Thursday. In a separate incident on Monday, the FAA says that a 3rd flight aborted landing over a police helicopter near the airport. The Army's announcement comes after 67 people died in January's mid-air collision between an American Airlines airliner and a Black Hawk helicopter.
I think there should be better communication between the military, and commercial. I think that needs to be done.
And the Army says the incidents are under investigation and that it remains committed to aviation safety. And happening now, Destination DC and Mayor Bowser are revealing the district's latest tourism and travel data for 2025. Today's rally gives an update on the latest numbers of visitors and the economic impact they have on the district. They're also joined by hotel and restaurant industry leaders discussing how DC can continue attracting visitors from across the country and around the world. That press conference began at 11 at Nationals Park. And people in the DMV are scrambling to get their real ID before tomorrow's deadline. Many are making their way to the Motor Vehicle Administration in Bowie, Maryland, and are eager to get their real ID driver's license. After tomorrow, you can no longer use a regular driver's license to board a domestic flight. The real ID will require travelers to show security enhanced IDs to pass through airport security checkpoints. Now, there are many supporting laws, but others don't think it's necessary.
Couldn't see what was wrong with the old one. I mean, I think at this point we're getting a little bit too invasive with all the things that we need to do.
If you need to get a real ID, you must have a current driver's license, birth certificate, social security card, and a bill or pay stub. In other news, stocks trended down on Wall Street, this breaking a 9-day winning streak with crude oil prices falling to a 4-year low. The Nasdaq Composite seeing the biggest loss among the market's 3 key indicators, with the S&P 500 closely trailing. Today, the 3 indicators continue to tumble. And happening now, DC's 31st annual Blue Mass honoring first responders and public safety officials. The procession began at noon at St. Patrick Catholic Church in Northwest. Because of the procession, there are road closures and you may need to look out for them. From now until 2 p.m., you won't be able to park on 10th Street between F and H Streets Northwest. Additionally, you can't park on G Street between 9th and 11th Streets Northwest or G between 9th or 10th Streets Northwest. Well, the White House officially announcing that the 2027 NFL Draft is making its way to D.C. People are already preparing for a massive economic impact. Our Max Marcilla has more from the National Mall, where the draft is set to take place.
We believe in investing in sports because they have helped us transform neighborhoods.
The latest investment in sports in D.C. is a big one. This is the vision from the NFL of the 2027 draft, which will take place on the National Mall. These renderings showing the future football stars and fans between the U.S. Capitol and Washington Monument.
I don't think there's ever been anything like that.
It's still 2 years away, but the excitement is already here.
This is an amazing, once-in-a-lifetime event.
We met with Jaron Price, president of the Downtown DC Business Improvement District, hours after the announcement.
So when you think about 1 million people sort of descending on DC that wouldn't otherwise necessarily be there, what you see is obviously a boost in terms of hotel stays and visits, a boost in terms of restaurant spending, a boost in terms of nightlife.
Other cities have seen measurable impacts when they've hosted the NFL draft. We're still waiting for a final economic report from Green Bay, site of last month's draft, but back in 2024, the draft generated $213 million of economic impact for the Detroit region, with 775,000 people attending over 3 days.
So excited to have that sort of energy.
That energy perhaps coming next to the RFK Stadium site, first stopping at the National Mall.
Sports, entertainment, hospitality, tourism, these aren't just things that you do for fun. They have a major economic benefit to the city.
What a statement for the NFL's presence here in the district. Max, thank you for that reporting. The NFL says the draft will include several activities, including a free fan festival and a concert series. And the Washington Capitals gearing up for game 1 of the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The team will host the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. The Caps coming off a first-round series win over the Montreal Canadiens. The last time they played the Hurricanes was in the playoffs in 2019. The Capitals lost in Game 7, though. The team says they are ready to face their division rivals. And check this out, the Washington Nationals and inaugural Friends fans alike are invited to enjoy the Central Perk vibes at the ballpark tonight. The game will be against the Cleveland Guardians. Fans who purchase a special event ticket for Friends Day will get an exclusive Screech and Teddy Pivot bobblehead. There will also be a special appearance of the iconic Central Perk couch to take pictures with. Tonight's game will be a doubleheader. Yesterday's game postponed due to storms.